Okay, so to start our snowflake, you're going to go to desmos.com. Start this over so you guys can see. So you're going to go to desmos.com and you're going to click Start Graphing. And then we're going to add a picture of a snowflake that we want to trace. You can use one of the ones that I've already uploaded to Google Classroom and save it to your device and then upload it from wherever you save it. Or you can go get a picture of your own. It's completely up to you. But the level of difficulty should be about the same as what I picked. So let's see. I will grab, can't remember what these look like. Let's see what this one looks like. Yeah, we'll start with this one just to kind of get an idea. So what you can do is you can move the center of the snowflake. So like let's say that when you imported it, you know, it looked something like that. It was moved over and you wanted to make it symmetric with respect to the origin to make it a little bit easier to graph. You can just move the center of the snowflake if you need to. The other thing I would do is kind of like hard press on this part right here. And it actually should let you, let me see if I go into settings and do it. Oh yeah, so sorry about that. You have to click settings first. So let me show you again. When you're on your snowflake, I want to make this a little bit lighter so that when I graph over it, it's easier to see my lines. So if you hit the little gear right here, and if you click then over here on the picture of the snowflake to the left, it says opacity. So if you make it less opaque, it'll lighten it up a little bit. So I just want this as a guide. So instead of it being like super dark, I'm going to lighten it up. And then I'll click done. Now, my goal here is to get lines that go over these lines, right? So I'm basically tracing it. So what you're going to do is you're not going to guess at what the equation of the line is going to be because that's really hard to do. So what you're going to do is you're going to write y equals ax, where a is your slope, and then plus b, where b is your y-intercept. And then where it says here, add slider, just click all. And what that's going to do is it's going to pre-populate your slope and your y-intercept. So basically what it just did here is it graphed the line y equals 1x plus 1. So what you're going to do is you're going to kind of move those around. See, increase a, decrease a. And using the actual like sliding part is probably going to make moves that are way too drastic. So what you'll want to do is click with your cursor in there and then make moves like this. Like just change it ever so slightly. Okay, like by typing them in. So I think what I'm going to do first right now is I'm going to just try, I'm going to turn this off by clicking there so you can turn it off and on. I'm going to try to just get this part right here just to kind of show you guys an example, and then you guys will just go from there. So I'm going to zoom in on this part right here, and I'm going to try to graph the line that's just this part of the, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So hexagon. So let's see here. Let me turn this back on and see how off we are. All right, so I know I need to tilt this a little bit, so I'm going to mess with the slope. Try to get it parallel. And then I know I need to move it like kind of to the left. So I'm going to mess with the y-intercept. So that's pretty close. And you'll see like I kind of clicked off of there a little bit and it moved. So I want to get that tilt just a little bit more so it's a little bit closer right there. So what I might do is kind of mess with it just like this. There, that's pretty close. And when you turn the picture off, nobody's going to know that it's not perfect, okay? Now, obviously this line is way too long. So what I need to do is basically start the line right there and end the line right there. So what we're going to do is we're going to restrict the domain. But before we do that, what we have to do is we have to graph that line, because as soon as we change A and B, it's going to change the line. So we want to write y equals 1.66x plus 1.35. And what we just did was we kind of like made this line permanent. Now, obviously, we could delete it, but what we're going to do is we're going to turn off this slider, and now I'm going to change this from black. Let's see. To, let's see. I'll make it orange so it's just a little bit more obvious. So then I'm going to change the domain on this. So spacebar, curly bracket, and I'm going to see this X value right here. If I hover over it, is negative 0.813. So negative 0.813 is less than or equal to X. See how it starts there now? Which is less than or equal to, and we have to kind of turn it off for just a second. Let's see what this X value is up here. It's right around negative 0.384. So is less than or equal to negative 0.384. Whoops. Forgot the inequality there. And you don't, awesome. Undo, there we go. And you don't have to end the curly bracket. It'll do it for you. My background music turned off there. Now, if you don't like, if it's like not as perfect as you want it to be, see that goes over just a little bit. So you can just kind of mess with it until it's, you know, exactly what you want. I actually think that's pretty good there, so I don't even need that 0. And I think that looks pretty good to me there too. So, and then if you don't love it, you can, again, you know, that even looks just a little bit better. So just fine tune it. And then you just keep going. So then what you would do is you would go back up here, turn that back on, and start moving it. So obviously we need more than 10 here. So I don't know, 15. We're trying to get a slope, you know, on this other side now. So maybe something like that, right? So you can also, so like, let's see, right? So now I've got a pretty good slope for that side, and my B looks pretty good for that side, and maybe I, you know, try to fine tune that a little bit. And then what you'll do is, that's a little bit too far, 3-5 I think is what I wanted. Yep. And then what you'll do is you'll type that as another line, like this. Okay. And then you'll start doing your domain restriction for that one. And again, the way I was doing the domain restriction was I was kind of hovering and clicking on here and reading off the X value, which is the first number in the parentheses, and then doing my domain restriction. So keep going. It's going to take you a while. I usually have, like, you know, most of the students doing that, and then somebody doing all of the typing on one screen, right? So you don't want to, you want everybody to be doing it on their own Chromebooks, but you basically want one person to be in charge of inputting everything on one screen. And then also make sure you save, because you don't want to lose a whole bunch of this. But if you have any questions, please ask.